don't roll the dice, you can hit it big.
You're always in trouble, too deep. Never off the outside, not side by side.
Going up the hill, look at Rube and look at Reese. Here he comes. Defending champion Paul Gentilozzi again comes to blows with Brian Simo. Lady Luck left Simo's party. And the unknown gunslinger arrived for his biggest fight, Wood Wilden Wilt. Here we go. Uphill run. Oh, he's coming out. He is. The brake zone. Can he get the gear change right? New smoke. What a pass. And Kenny Wilden is going to make Jim Gerhardt cry with emotion. There it is, his very first Trans Am win for that car and for Jim Gerhardt. In the end, Wilden stood tall, hit the jackpot, and he took it all. We are live. This is the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Those clouds are beginning to drop rain showers. Now, this is a very interesting track, Dorsey. Let's have a look.
You got 2.25 miles, mostly even a mile and a half oval. These cars go very quick. Turn 1 and turn 2, that is a chicane. Once you get down in there, all the way through the infield till you exit on turn 11, is completely flat. Very, very slippery. With over 650 horsepower, these guys are going to have a handful, and it is raining a little bit now.
Oh, yeah. Real slippery and a real handful in the rain. You'll see the umbrellas begin to sprout up. You see on the simple green car, the windshield wipers are on. Let's have a look at our carparts.com starting grid. Look at Boris Said. 2/10 clear of the whole field, led by Kenny Wilden. Second row, Brian Simo. Beside him, a great run by Stu Hayner. Move back to row 3. That is Johnny Miller in the Chevrolet Corvette, and there is Willie P. Ribbs in the Camaro. Move back to row 4. Inside row 4, we have Chris Neville, a winner already this year in the Ford Mustang, and Lou Gelati, a great run by Lou Gelati. Behind him, here's a surprise. Look at Paul Gentilozzi. He is 9th on the grid beside Craig Baird, who comes all the way from New Zealand to be here with us. Move back to the 6th row is Tommy Drucey, winner earlier at Long Beach. Beside him, the second Jag in the field, Jeff Altenberg. Moving to row 7, Leighton Reese, winner in Texas, and Randy Ruhlman having his best and worst year all in the same season. Row 8, we have Ken Murillo and Mike Lewis. Not a good qualification session for Mike Lewis in that Ford Mustang. Row 9, Bob Ruhlman and Steve Helke. Move back to row 10, G.J. Menon. We have him back, and Jack Willis now in a Ford Mustang. That was Gary Johnson's ride earlier this year. As you look down through the rest of the field here, we actually have 37 cars here. Now, Dorsey, tell me what happens if it rains. Will they stop everybody, or do you make your own decision?
Well, since everyone's out there on slicks right now, it's not been declared a rain race. If they go out and roll out and it starts raining quite hard, they'll probably put out the pace car, bring everybody under control, and then bring them to pit lane, and then they'll be able to change to race tires and only put on a windshield wiper, so they can't do anything but that.
We will try and show you our onboard cameras if we get them, but the weather is beginning to close in, so our helicopter that has to beam the pictures from the car to the helicopter back to us is now grounded at this particular time. If it does rain, watch the car on the right-hand side. The brand new Ford Mustang built by Sun Microsystems Ford Mustang team, they may have an advantage here. Boris Said is just dynamite in the rain. This is his 3rd race of the day. Not of the weekend, of the day, so he will definitely be tired. I don't care how much of a tank or a tiger he is, Dorsey, he's bound to be tired.
Yeah, he is. One thing that's going in his favor is with this rain, and I just came off pit lane, as you know, it's pretty windy and it's pretty cool down there, so at least he won't be baking like you would normally in a Trans Am car.
This is the roll-off. Slowly, people have put more and more clothes on all afternoon here, and now they have the heavy coats. Calvin?
Well, typically, Derek, when you get rain like this right on the pre-grid, you would go to the cars, you'd soften off the shocks, maybe change the roll bar settings. But Trans Am has a rule. Once those cars hit pre-grid, you cannot touch the cars. So the guys are going out essentially on full dry setup. Certainly rain anti-fog on the windshield, but the setup itself will be whatever they determined this morning. So maybe someone gambled.
Well, in Las Vegas, very few people gamble, right, Dorsey?
I think they might have gambled.
Yes, here's the top 10 in points after 10 of 12 rounds. Remember, we go to San Diego just next weekend. Paul Gentilozzi leading by 30 points over Brian Simo. Jeff Altenberg, what a great season he has had. And look at Leighton Reese, 4th overall in the points. Neville, by virtue of having that great win, elevates himself to the top 5 as you look down through our top 10. Now it is raining on the windows of our announce booth here. Not enough, obviously, to call it a wet race. But one of the stories really has been Paul Gentilozzi. He just missed it in qualifying. There was controversy afterwards because, believe it or not, he says, and we actually saw it happen, Brian Simo, after he qualified, went out, did slow laps and blocked Paul Gentilozzi. He was incensed. He ran into the back of Brian Simo. They got nose to nose after the qualifying session. Look at this, gets it sideways here. But for two guys who've been friends all season long, definitely they are at each other's throats. Have a look here earlier this year. This is Houston.
That's their first incident where they hit side to side there, and the worst off is looks to be Paul Gentilozzi. This was last week, however. Look here. Underneath goes Paul. Bow. Simo didn't see him, and he accused Paul of being at fault. He wasn't at fault. Here at qualifying, look at this. This was yesterday.
Yeah. Brian is blocking, and that was the slowdown lap. Gentilozzi runs into the back of him. They all trying to explain their situation. Just look at Paul Gentilozzi.
And he's screaming there at Kevin Bayless, who was the series director, and he was telling him, what's this all about? So there's some harsh feelings right now.
And remember now that Brian Simo has an ally, and Boris Said is on the pole. Let's have a look at our simple green storyline. Can Willie T pull off this challenge within a challenge and take the 20 grand bonus? Gentilozzi, can he close in on the 3rd title in a row? If he wins it, it'll be 3 titles in a row in 3 different makes of car. A Corvette, a Mustang, and a Jaguar this year.
Now the problem they're going to have, Derek, is that they're behind the pace car right now. And if those tires were hot with the rain that's coming down, it wouldn't be as much of a problem. Because once they're hot, they're sticky. And even though there's not much grip in the wet, once they're sticky, they stay that way. But they're not hot, and they're not going to get hot following this pace car at this speed. So it's going to be really slippery when they get to the infield.
Let's take a quick trip down to pit lane to the 4th member of our broadcast crew, John Bizignano. Biz?
Well, guys, maybe slipperiness is going to be a problem, but right all up and down the pit lane, we got the rain tires coming out, we've got the windshield wipers coming out, but the really big problem when it comes to a Trans Am car in the rain is the fog inside the windshield. Now, these cars were not thinking about going out there to have that fog problem. They have mops inside the car, everything. It's kind of panicky down here. Calvin Fish.
Wiper situation, an update on the wiper situation, Biz, is the fact that with the rain tire rule, Kevin Bayless said a lot of teams wanted to fit the wipers, but he wouldn't allow them to do it unless they fitted rain tires as well. If you put the rain tires on, you get the full rain kit, so to speak. So a lot of guys out there would like wipers. They're not going to have them, guys, as we head to green.
Wow, Calvin, I hope that's not right. That doesn't make any sense at all. What about like a guy who wants to race on slicks when it's raining?
But it is right. It's one of the silly rules that they have.
Is it?
You got to have both. If you do the windshield wipers, you got to do the tires.
So is Paul Gentilozzi on wet tires? I saw him with the windscreen wiper on. Here we go. Boris Said on the left of your picture in the brand new Ford Mustang. Boy, Kenny Wilden got swallowed up. Ainer on the outside.
Now,
Wilden sideways looking at the braking zone.
Here's where it's going to get slippery, right down in here. And I tell you what, Brian Simo, somebody was around back there, didn't see it. Brian Simo has got to drive a perfect race. He's got to win this race if he has any chance whatsoever. There is the car runner, Johnny Miller. Johnny Miller is spun down in turn 1. He's just now re-entering.
You got to be real careful here in these opening laps. Johnny Miller gets himself on the grass. Now remember, Brian Simo has an ally in Boris Said. Boris Said works for No Fear, a company owned and operated by Brian Simo, so we presume he will support him. There is Gentilozzi right behind Chris Neville.
Derek, you talked about gambling at the beginning. Well, I'll tell you who gambled. Paul Gentilozzi. His windshield wiper was on when he brought it
Look
to the
at
grid.
Simo off the road, slips off, as does Wilden, Kenny Wilden in the Camaro.
Well, I told you it was going to be slippery when it got down in there. Look at that. That's 650 horsepower, and they don't have any grip yet.
Oh, Simo now, it's a right-hander. Kenny Wilden takes the defensive line. Paul Gentilozzi might have pulled off the gamble here. He might have thrown the dice properly.
Well, he's got the windshield wiper on, which means... Oh, and there's Leighton Reese also off. trying to get back on now.
This is so slippery, but did Paul Gentilozzi take the gamble that might pay off? Calvin?
Well, Derek, I'm not sure whether it's a gamble or a misinterpretation of the rules. I just spoke to Mark Strickland. I said, you guys on wets? He said, no, slicks. I said, you have a wiper? He said, so? I said, well, Kevin Bayless just told me you're not allowed to have the wiper on without the rain tires, so there could be a question mark. We've had enough problems with rules this year, guys. Hopefully we don't see another one here today.
It wouldn't be the first mix-up this season.
Well, I think what the rule is that you have to run the car as you present it, as we see.
Duhainer, is that? Oh, no,
Weldon.
no,
Weldon has now spun the 40 out of contention. Whatever you bring the car down to the grid with is what you're going to run with, and I think that's what the rule is.
Okay, so Kenny Weldon, our big winner last weekend, or 2 weeks ago at Laguna Seca, has a harmless spin. There is Gentilozzi behind Lou Gelati. That's where he started on the grid. He hasn't moved anywhere since.
Gentilozzi's got such a big lead. There's no reason for him to do anything right now. Brian Simo, if he's going to beat Gentilozzi, he's going to have to win this race, and he's not going to get it done by being off the road.
And I don't think Boris Said, if he's going to help Brian Simo, he's going to help him right now. Boris Said might take the opportunity here to show just how good he is.
Absolutely.
With that new team. And that new, well, a new team to him. It's obviously not a new team. Mike Davis is his teammate here. Mike Davis decided to build a second car. But there is Paul Gentilozzi. He is trying to win 3 Trans Am championships in a row in 3 different makes of car. No one's ever done that before. He might do it today.
Welcome back. You are in pit lane in Las Vegas with Randy Ruhlman, and unfortunately this is not where he wants to be. A brake failure on both the front and the rear. They're trying to bleed the brakes. A lot of smoke coming out from underneath them, but when the car came in the pits, the first thing they did was take all the fog from the inside of the windshield and spray it with some defogger. All those cars out there have to be having visibility problems.
Thank you, John. Boris Said is in control. He is now, as Brian Simo just goes across the line. Going to see how far ahead he is. He is 9 seconds, 9.1 seconds officially. He is ahead of Brian Simo there in the yellow.
Second
no,
yellow car.
Not that yellow one.
No, because that's Peter Shea right there.
Yeah. The car, and in fact, Peter Shea is the car that Boris drove in Texas. On board now with Brian Simo. He can see.
Look at the
Boris
right corner here of the windshield. You can see how hard it is raining in places, because that's the runoff. That's the water running off to the right side.
Down the infield section, Willie T still trying to win that Johnson Controls Triple Challenge. He's got to try and hang on here because he's in a fight with Simo. Calvin?
Well, there's an interesting spectator down here, Derek. Bob Ellis, he's VP of Marketing for Johnson Controls. Last year, your man, Paul Gentilozzi, won this, but he's in a tight battle. Very exciting here with the rain, though.
It is, yeah. Las Vegas Motor Speedway makes it real exciting because of the nature of the course. The rain adds another element of excitement to it, and we're excited to see what's going to happen today. Johnson Controls has been a sponsor here for a long time, especially of the Triple Crown Challenge, so this will be a pretty neat race.
It's great to see your involvement in the sport once again. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Kelvin.
Now remember, for that Johnson Controls Triple Crown Challenge, Ribbs leads at 53 points. Simo was second at 50 points. Gentilozzi has 49 points. So this is going to be a tussle all the way through here. We are now 10 laps in out of 44 laps. And this battle from Ribbs, who is third, Murillo, Bear, Gentilozzi, and Lou Gelati, they are all covered by a blanket here. On board with the Young's Chevrolet-backed car of Lou Gelati here.
Well, they're lucky it's not raining so much that they're getting spray or puddles. One of the reasons that the inside fogs so badly on these cars is, unlike a Winston Cup car where all the headers and the exhaust pipes go under the car, there's no room on these Trans Am cars. So all those pipes, those exhaust pipes, and all that exhaust system goes through the inside of the car, through the door panel. And if it gets wet, of course, all the steam is there right with you.
Right, yeah. On board now with Paul Gentilozzi. Biz?
Well, I'll tell you, something you want right now is a soft setup. And as Calvin said earlier, some of the people went to a soft setup when they saw the clouds coming in. Right before Paul Gentilozzi left his garage area, he said, guys, I want it a little bit softer on the rear. We don't have to win this race. We just want to be in the top third. Let's go for the easy dice roll, not the hard push. He went to a soft setup, and right now he's loving it.
Yeah, Lou Gelati got himself in all sorts of trouble. Something unusual happened there. Something broke mechanically, and he just drove straight off the racetrack. So Lou Gelati hopefully can stay out of everybody's way and will not cause a full course yellow here. But we were on board with Lou, and suddenly he disappeared. There he is. Calvin?
Yeah, just an update. I spoke to Lou Jr., who heads up his team, and he said that there's a vibration in the rear end, and he thought he couldn't get it back to the pit, so he just pulled it over, guys.
You know what? It looks like it's on fire.
Well,
I don't see flames, but I see an awful lot of heat.
There was flame in the right front. It looked like he got the brakes really hot. He might have broke a drive shaft. That could have been that clank I heard, and if that's the case, he doesn't have any drive line.
Because the engine still runs, and you know what? I think that car's in trouble. I think there is flame underneath there.
Well, there was in the right front corner, and I thought that was due to the extreme braking when he went off the road, or maybe picked up some grass, but we'll have to watch that.
So while Lou tries to make sure this thing doesn't become a barbecue, he's going to slip away. Hopefully it's not too much damage here, but Lou Gelati is left all by himself to deal with this problem. There's your top 10. We are now about to go green, which actually could give us a good shootout. It stopped raining for about 5 minutes. It is just begin to start rain again. We are on board now with Paul Gentilozzi right behind Craig Baird from New Zealand. Great run, Dorsey, for Craig Baird. Strange culture over here for him, and strange racetracks.
Yeah, really good run by him. He's got a good race car. We know that's Jack Baldwin's car. Watch it now. The tire's going to be cold again, and they're coming up to speed. Here will be the problem when they try to get slowed down for the infield.
Oh, Willie T locks up the brakes. You saw that with the blue smoke there. Number 76 needs to move out of the way.
Yeah, that right there is Jerry Simmons, and he's about to be overtaken. Whoa, there's a spin right there. We're on board with a spin. Got on the throttle too hard and put it around backwards. Still rolling. That was Paul Gentilozzi we were riding with. He was trying to overtake, went to the inside of Simmons, and got on the throttle way too hard and damaged. Look at the hood.
Oh, now does Brian Simo need a hand from Boris Said?
Oh, a lot of damage. He's hit quite hard something while we were riding with him. Look at this down here. Turn one. What a mess. He knows he's in trouble. He's going to have to go around and get repairs done to that.
It is over. Paul Gentilozzi's day is over in Las Vegas. They will not fix that car.
It will go to the last race for the championship, assuming that now Brian Simo can keep running.
Next week in San Diego will probably now decide the championship.
That's what he hit right there. Kerry Alexander, it must have been while he was spinning. He must have got into the back of that car.
Look at Kerry Alexander. That thing is just destroyed.
That was a big hit, I'll tell you what. We were riding on board, and I didn't see that hit, but obviously while he was spinning, big contact.
Wow, but Paul oh, look at this, Boris Said.
Oh, Boris in trouble. He's got smoke out from under the back of the car, and Simo's past him.
Wow, now the championship opens up. Willie T. Ribbs is right behind them. There he is. He was on the top of the screen, the green car. Oh, this is Calvin.
Well, Gentilozzi's in here. You can see major damage to the front end. They're trying to get the clips undone to try and get the nose and the bonnet, the hood off the car. I can't tell at this point if there's any damage to the left front suspension. There was a lot of tire smoke as he drove down pit lane, and he's turned the engine off. This is going to take a while. Meanwhile, further down pit lane, I understand Chris Neville has a problem, Biz.
You're right. Well, actually, it's not a problem. He's the first one to come in for rain tires. You may see this. There is a huge cell just to the south of us. It's bright on the right, but there is a cell right over the airport, we understand, that has closed the airport and is moving this way. Chris Neville was the first car to come in for the rain tires. He lost a lap doing it. Well, I think it's going to pay off, guys.
Wow. Mike Davis is off. He's been in trouble. That's Boris's team owner. The car down there that he's off with, Jerry Simmons, he's off.
Look at this here. Huge amount of damage on Paul Gentilozzi's car. Calvin?
Paul, there seems to be major damage to the front clip, mate. What happened out there?
Oh, somebody got anxious on the restart and did the
dominated right now, and these guys have to be careful out there, Dorsey. As you know, when they run under caution, they get no tire temperature, and also there's been a lot of rain during that caution period as well. Treacherous conditions right now.
Well, that's what caused the spin. It wasn't getting on the throttle too hard. It was getting rammed from behind.
Okay, now listen to this. Brian Simo is leading with the buffer zone behind him with his good friend Boris Said. If Simo wins here and Paul Gentilozzi finishes outside the top 25, which is highly likely right now, Simo would go to the last race of the championship in San Diego next week, live on Speed Vision, with a 1-point lead. Wow, what a season this may come down to. What a fight between Simo and Paul Gentilozzi. But you know what? We got 44 laps to sort out. This one here, don't go away. Boris Said has all guns blazing here in Las Vegas. He has now gone back into the lead. Johnny Miller has gone off the road to the AutomationDirect.com car, but Boris Said has now repassed Brian Simo again. Ribbs is right behind him, and Kenny Wilden has come from about 15th place all the way up to 5th. Dorsey, here's the pass for the lead.
Well, we asked a question before. Would, in fact, Boris stay back? No, he will not. He comes down on the apron. That's going down in turn 1. Good, clean pass, clouts the curve right there. So he's willing to race for the lead. And look right behind her. That's Willie G. Ribbs and Kenny Wilden. And those guys now are in contention.
Yeah,
Wilden now is passed. He's up to 3rd.
Oh, Kenny Wilden. He was about a second a lap quicker than the whole field about 6 or 7 laps earlier. Paul Gentilozzi still sits in the pit lane. So him trying to get to 25th or better looks very, very slim. Let's go back, Dorsey, and have another look and a listen at what happened to Gentilozzi. Here he gets hit. Now listen. Man, you hear him run along the wall as he smashes the front of the car in, having been hit from behind.
He scraped all the way down that wall. You saw Brian Simo get really loose there chasing his buddy there. And there's the 93 car spun around. That is one of the Corvettes.
So Said, Simo's off the road again.
See, now it's all coming apart.
Okay, but hang on. Where's Willie T? Where's Kenny Wilden? So Kenny Wilden is now in 2nd place. Kenny Wilden goes to 2nd. Will he now run down Boris Said? Willie T is right there.
They had to have gotten to Brian on the radio and told him about Paul and said, look, you can lead this going in the last race. I don't know if they're doing that. He's not getting good ring advice. I don't know.
Man, the wheels are coming off the wagon here for Brian Simo. Same thing happened at Laguna Seca. He got hit. Oh,
look at the rain.
But Laguna Seca, he got hit by Paul Gentilozzi, and then he began to run off the road way too often.
The only man he's racing is in the pits broken down. He doesn't have to race Boris, that's for sure.
Kenny Wilden. Kenny Wilden now has the 2nd fastest lap in the race overall to Boris Said by 0.06 of a second. He just made his way past Willie T. Ribbs. Willie T is right behind him, though. He has not let him go. This is Jim Derhog's car. Remember the big winner from Laguna Seca just 2 weeks ago. It's an older car. This is a 1996 Chevrolet Camaro that Kenny Wilden is in right there. There is Willie T.
And I'm kind of glad to see that. That shows a driver with talent can come in here, doesn't have to buy the brand new car, and can be competitive in this class. It bodes well for Trans Am.
Which is part of the changing landscape we mentioned right off the top of the show. Now we're going to watch real carefully to see, can Kenny Wilden begin to reel in Boris Said. Boris Said now about to put a lap on Chris Neville. He took the gamble to put wet weather tires on. It's not just wet enough for that gamble to pay off. We are just over halfway, 22 laps.
It's getting very slippery, but you're right. It's not wet enough. There's no puddling. You do not need a rain tire yet. You just got to hold on and bear it down.
Kenny Wilden was 0.2 of a second slower on that last lap than Boris Said. There they are right there. Meanwhile, we've dropped Brian Simo off the main leaderboard. He has dropped almost outside the top 10. He is 9th at the moment. Here's his spin.
Look, here's a break. He goes back to the left here. A big whip on him. It just goes, it's really slippery, and it just gets out from underneath him right there.
Watch Kenny Wilson outside. There goes Kenny, and there goes Willie T, second and third. Wow. Let's go on board and have a look.
Watch now, he turns down in here. Gets in, now he's going to go back to the right.
We thought that Joe Huffaker, his team manager, team owner, might have given him some information on the radio, but I don't know. Calvin?
Joe Huffaker is actually politicking right now with the SCCA officials to say, let's call this thing a red flag situation and get everyone on wets. He's saying it's too dangerous for these guys to be on slicks. You suspect that with Gentilozzi basically out of this thing, he's just trying to really play safe for his man and try and keep him in the points today and not have it end up in the tire wall.
Okay, meanwhile, we're keeping a real close eye on Kenny Wilson. He is now only 2.5 seconds behind Boris Said. He is beginning to close in. Willie T. Ribbs is still there in third place.
Hello, I'm Derek Daly.
Welcome back live in Las Vegas. The rain is beginning to come down even worse. It is extremely slippery. Not a wet race officially yet. Said still leads. Wilden is still second. He is now 4 seconds behind. So when these boys get into traffic, they lose as much as 2 or 3 seconds. That is Jeff Altenberg. That is for position. That is for 7th place. Altenberg had it. Now Brian Simo has it. Jeff Altenberg wants to be careful here because today he can wrap up the Red Line Rookie of the Year title. All he needs to do is gain 1 point over Mike Davis. Of course, Mike Davis is the man that has built this brand new Ford Mustang that Boris Said is in, and he is leading with. Stu Hayner's in trouble.
You know what? When you're driving in conditions like this, Derek, it's how willing you are to take chances. You got to go to every corner and get it what you can get, but the conditions change every lap.
And that has given Brian Simo yet another position because Stu Hayner was, in fact, in 6th place. Simo was 7th. He now is 6th. Altenberg, see him go by. Craig Bird is still there. You know, one of the great things about Trans Am for next year, we mentioned at the top of the show, is the variety of cars that people begin to talk about. We have a special guest in our booth, and he really has put the cat among the pigeons with an announcement this weekend of a brand new team, Sinjo Racing, that will debut a very exciting car. Please welcome Tommy Archer. Tommy, tell us what type of car you'll race next year in Trans Am.
It's going to be great, Derek. It's going to be a 2001 Dodge Viper. We're looking forward to it. This series is great. It's got a lot of good competitors out there, and it's exciting racing.
So obviously you saw Trans Am as something that's a viable career move now. I mean, you won in Lime Rock with the 93.
93, I won the Detroit Grand Prix in 92.
Yeah. So is the car built yet? When will you test it?
It's being built now. The body's being built and engines are being built, and we had to get body approval by SCCA, the Panos divisions, to make sure that the car could come in and compete with these cars on a level playing field, and they seem to be happy with it so far, as you can see by the drawing of it.
Tommy, as the conditions worsen here, let's quickly go to Calvin Fish for an update.
Well, Kevin Bayliss, I believe, is on the radio right now to the control tower. I believe they're making a decision, Derek, on the fact that the rain has gotten so bad, cars are spinning off all over the place. We're trying to get a quick update from Kevin. Kevin, what's the current situation?
Well, we're definitely seeing a loss of lap time at the moment, so track conditions are definitely getting worse than when we started the race. Keeping a close eye on it right now, but it's a definite possibility we may be calling the race black flag all at the moment to bring cars in to change over to wets.
When they change to wets, are they allowed to make any other adjustments to the car or just change tires?
Yes, when it's stopped so that they can put wets on, they can change roll bar settings and shock settings, put on wipers, rain windows, etc. Go to a full wet setup.
Thanks, Kevin.
Okay, so we have something else that we didn't anticipate. When the leader, I believe, gets to the start-finish line, we are going to go black flag condition. Bring everybody in, give everybody a chance to change under wet weather tires. Remember, these cars don't have air jacks. They don't have quick fit tire change capabilities. So with a 15-minute window to stop, it puts everybody in a much safer situation and allows us to talk to Tommy Archer for a bit longer. Tommy, number one question, what engine will it have?
It's going to have a Caldwell Development V8.
It will, okay.
Yep. It's got to do that to fit the rules.
We have already been asked, would it have a V10? And I know that does not fit the rules, but can you imagine if it did?
Well, what you got to remember, Derek, that these cars are is restricted by the size of the carburetor, and the LMS cars that we race now are restricted by air intake. So the Trans Am car is actually going to have more horsepower than I have now.
Trans Am, of course, is the oldest road racing series in America. I think since Ralph Sanchez took it over with Panos, there really has been a buzz of excitement here as we watch the pace car come out and put us under full course yellow. In fact, when I mentioned Ralph Sanchez, I spoke to Ralph just a couple of days ago. As some of you know, Ralph has just gone through cancer surgery. He wanted me to tell everybody, for all the fans that have sent him letters and emails and called him, he is doing very well. He is up and about. He walks every day, beginning to get some exercise. So it looks as if his surgery was successful, and he wants to say a heartfelt thank you to everybody who showed concern for Ralph Sanchez. Ralph, great to talk to you on the phone. I'm glad to see that you're fit and strong and almost back on track again. As Paul Gentilozzi, in full wet weather conditions, brings the Jag back out, but he's told to cut the engine while they bring everybody else in under black flag conditions to change to wet weather tires. We'll be back.
Well, one thing you always see the mechanics scurrying up and down pit lane doing is checking tire pressure and tire temperature. But how do you know if your gauge is right? Well, in the past you didn't. Then to be a Goodrich technician, they found a way. Gary, explain to us what you built here.
What we have here, Dorsey, is a mobile metrology lab. It's a super accurate means of measuring tire pressure and tire temperature. You can verify your pyrometer and your pressure gauges are operating correctly and accurately with this device, and calibrate them.
Now, you've had some teams come with gauges 5 pounds off?
Absolutely, and at 70 pounds per PSI, the spring rate differential, that's a tremendous amount. It's hard to set up a car with your gauge off that much.
Well, 5 pounds air pressure is 350 pounds of spring rate. You can't win a race being that far off.
That is a very, very useful device that BF Goodrich put together to help all these teams up and down the pit lane. Now, Calvin?
Well, I'm here with Brian Simmel. Brian, this championship season, what a roller coaster. Looks like it's going your way here today, but we've got 5 crucial minutes left in this race. What is your strategy? Do you just sit still where you're at in 5th place, or do you try and go to the front?
Well, I don't know. You know, I'm going to try to go to the front. We need all the points we can get, and these conditions are brutal, but they actually favor us. So, you know, the flag goes green, I'm going racing.
You and Boris were hooked up there. He's a master in the wet. You probably learned a little bit from him, but you had a couple of spins with the car. What's the biggest concern in these conditions? Is it putting the power down or the faster stuff?
Yeah, it is. It's really difficult. It's about like driving on ice. It's really inconsistent, so it's really hard to read. I saw Boris get off, and I figured I had him right there, and you know, you can't judge. You really can't judge. It's very difficult.
Okay, mate, we'll have a good end to this one.
So now, Brian Simmel is in 5th place, and Paul Gentilozzi is basically nowhere.
Boy, we got a problem here.
What is wrong with Simmel? Right side of the screen.
They're not letting him go. He just came in there. Look, the mechanics had the car jacked up for a minute, and I don't know why they wouldn't let him go.
That is Jeff Alford on the right side of the blackjack. Meanwhile, let's take a look at our highlight package. Dorsey, this is the start.
Watch this start. Look at Kenny Willen. Gets boxed in there. Tries to go down the inside, but nowhere to go.
Boris Said, meanwhile, leads, and he drops the thing off the road.
And right behind him, Brian Simmel with a reactionary spin.
Then Lou Gilotti has the start of a barbecue. Didn't get too serious, though, but he couldn't get a fire extinguisher.
Then the big incident. Ride with Paul Gentilozzi gets hit.
Gets hit, what we believe by Kerry Alexander, smashes the front of the Jag into the concrete wall. There's the result. Then Brian Simmel, running 2nd at the time. Another spin. Wilden and Willie T goes by. Then we were forced into a black flag situation because of the rain. Everybody brought in, and they are about to line up in what we think looks like race positions, but that doesn't look like race positions to me. We'll be back to sort it out. Welcome back. And the wheels are off the wagon here. Brian Simo, they've just had a horrendous team mistake. They put the wet weather tires on. Obviously, Dorsey didn't get it on right. And here's the result. Calvin?
Well, I think what happened, Derek, when I spoke to Brian there under the red flag period, I looked down at the left front and it looked strange. It was a little offset, and I thought, well, maybe they have a different offset on the wet tires. I think what may have happened, Derek, they didn't have it on the pegs. When he then drove down pit lane, it then relocated, and then, of course, the wheel nut is not tight. And one of the other crew members noticed it down there as he was about to head out, either no time or not allowed to change it. Either way, the wheels disappeared now.
Wow. This may throw the championship away for Brian Simo, throw the Johnson Controls Triple Crown Challenge away for Brian Simo. That is a huge blunder right there.
It's a very big mistake. Now Brian's got to go all the way around, come back in the pits. He can put a wheel on, no damage, but he's going to lose this race. There's not enough time to make up.
Now remember, all the lapped cars, the position that they held on the racetrack at the black flag, that's the position they were put back in. That's why you see so many lapped cars between
Willie T in
Boris
trouble?
Said and Kenny Wilden and Willie T on the apron.
Willie T was slow getting going. Look, they're bumping, they're all hitting.
Look at this, he smacks Willie T.
Murillo
Willie
hit
T
the back.
Still goes on.
No, it's not over yet. That was Murillo that got into the backup. Of course, none of these guys know what the grip level is. They're on cold tires.
Juan LaRue was the guy that hit Willie T ribs. There is damage on the right side. There is heavy damage on the right side of Willie T's car. Can he hang on, though, or will Ken Murillo now sneak in and get that second position? So there's second. Murillo's now third.
That takes out Wilden.
Kenny Wilden.
Oh, they all go around. Willie's going to be okay. Willie T's going to make it okay through that.
Wow. Kenny Wilden gets mugged from behind by Ken Murillo. He has come back from 15th position from an earlier spin. Meanwhile, Brian Simo's left front wheel has now been put back on, but he doesn't have any time.
He needs a caution, is what Brian needs. It won't make any difference, so I tell you. Willie T, that could have been a $20,000 hit.
Yeah, but he got away with it.
He did.
He got away with it. Now we think Boris Said is safely in the lead, away from all the crashing and banging. We believe Willie T. Ribs is now second. I don't know how safe it is, because here comes Ken Murillo again. See the damage on the front of Ken Murillo's car? I don't know where Kenny Wilden is. There is Neville. Chris Neville is there. He, I believe, I'm not sure that Neville is on the same lap. When they go past our scoring stripe on this lap here, it'll sort it all out for us, hopefully. There is Boris Said. We know he is safely in the lead. A long, long way in the lead. Yeah, behind him, well, we believe it's Willie T. Ribs. It's Craig Baird is second.
Baird's second. Willie T's right now. Here's your battle for third.
Ken Murillo comes inside Willie T.
Now, Willie T of the past wouldn't have taken kindly to that punching around.
Look at this. Look, Murillo doesn't decide the grass is quicker.
Yeah.
Chris Neville is behind him. Willis is now shown in 5th place. Altenberg is 6th. Duhainer is 7th. Then it's Menon, Dreesy, and Leighton Reese. We're going to get the white flag next time by.
What about Baird in second? Isn't that fantastic?
Craig Baird fell out of the seat in Houston, suffered from heat exhaustion.
Wilden.
Kenny Wilden is off.
Wilden, who won last weekend, has crashed his car and is off and getting out.
But you know what? He did do a good job this weekend. It was unfortunate that Murillo hit him and put him back into the throes of many other cars. That may have caused a mechanical problem also. Meanwhile, Boris Said, his third race of the day, and now he leads in grand style.
Oh, Genelosi's off. Genelosi's been off somewhere spinning around.
Which way is he going?
I don't know until another car comes by. He doesn't either, I don't think. Oh, that's the way he's going.
Brian Simo is now shown in 15th place.
Now this will be
Steve Pelkey.
I believe this will be Boris's second ever Trans Am win right here.
Yes, it will. Boris Said second ever Trans Am win. You know what? It's not over yet.
No,
He's got to get up on the banking.
Oh, Murillo!
Murillo, another wheel comes off.
The wheel came off. The right front wheel fell off that car. Now look, there it goes. Willie T.
Now is going to try and run down Craig Baird. Can Willie T run down Craig Baird? Right now, Willie T will take the Johnson Controls Triple Crown Challenge. The white flag is now out. Ken Murillo's great day finishes on 3 wheels. Willie T now is safely through in third place. Craig Baird is third. Willie T could close in, But you know what? He doesn't need to take the gamble.
Boy, this is going to be a good day for the Victoria Motorsports group. They wanted a podium. They're going to finally get Willie up there, and they're going to make 20 grand on top of it.
Yeah, Stu Hayner ran well earlier on. There is Boris. ACS, Applied Computer Systems, a company owned by Mike Davis, who built this car. It's a sister car to Mike's own car. They look identical, pretty much. This is a brand new car for the last race.
Unfortunately, Mike's car got tore up in a wreck earlier on, so he isn't a factor in this himself.
So Boris Said is safe. That's about the only thing you can say in the Trans Am event this afternoon. If you just stay on the racetrack, you stand a chance of finishing on the podium. What about Craig Baird? Brian Simo now almost half a lap behind. He is now in 14th place because Murillo has now moved down the order, having lost that wheel. So Boris Said he's going to make it around. So NASCAR turn 3 and 4. He's taking it easy. Look how slow he's going.
Yeah, they got on the radio to him. I tell you what, our camera looks like
it's easy.
Looks like it's light outside. It's not light outside. It's dark here, folks.
Now here's a team that will celebrate tonight. Look at the job these boys did here. They throw Boris Said in for just 2 races this year, build a brand new car, and lo and behold, he sticks it on the pole. There is Mike Davis right there. Sticks it on the pole and comes home a winner. Second time in this car. Craig Baird, our visitor from New Zealand, goes back.
Look at this, Willie T. and Willis.
And there's
Look
Jack Willis. That's a battle for position. That is a Willis on the inside. Going to take it from Willie T. Yes! Who does?
Look, he's out of control.
Willis finishes on the podium. Well, well, well. What a turn up for the books. We had crashes, we lost wheels, we had rain, we had dry, and we have Boris Said as a winner. We are back, we are live. That is Boris Said, his second ever Trans Am victory. And he did it in style here. I mean, he didn't pick up this one. He led from the start, from the pole. He had speed, he had control, made a small mistake one time, went off the road. But his third race of the afternoon, and he is just delighted, Calvin.
Well, we're going to try and get in here. Boris is climbing out of the car. He's going to do his victory dance. It's slippy up there, but he's managed slippery conditions all day long. Try and get a quick word with you, Boris. Unbelievable race.
Yeah, I mean, the conditions were treacherous, but, I mean, what can you say? These BFG tires were great. And, I mean, these guys from Applied Computer Solutions, they did a great job building this car. You know, this is only the second race with these guys, and we get along great. And, I mean, it just feels really good to finally win. I was hoping to help Brian out, but he was too damn slow, so I couldn't help him out. But I lost 2 good friends last week. Ray Higley, drag racer from Carlsbad, he passed away, lost his fight to cancer, and this wins for him and, you know, all my friends this year in NASCAR, especially Tony Roper. So it feels good to finally get one for those guys.
Great job today. And by the way, you got $2,500 bonus. Simple Green. It rolled over last week, unfortunately. They start again, $2,500.
Oh, well, that feels great, but the win's what we need. It's not the money.
Well, that's what Boris said. What a weekend he has had. 3 races today alone, but there's the result he wanted to see. Great run, though, Dorsey, for Craig Baird to come from New Zealand and to have a baptism of fire in Houston and to finish on the podium here.
And Jack Willis, too, the rookie, comes up in a brand new car, never drove it before.
As you move down through the top 20, Chris Neville, he made an early pit stop, got a lap down, and never made it up. Then moved down through the rest. There's Kenny Wills at 24th place. What a great run he had before he went off the road. Jim Briotti, 21st. Paul Gentilozzi, 30th. And then there's Lou Gilotti towards the end. He ran very well, though. What a day of change. We had everything today you could possibly throw at a race.
The BF Goodrich Tires Trans Am Series is presented by BF Goodrich Tires. Take control. And sponsored in part by Simple Green, the safer solution that works.
Willie T. Ribs, congratulations. You are $20,000 richer, and you are the Triple Crown champion. All right, congratulations.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you very much. I mean, it was a fight right to the finish. I mean, in weather like this makes it even sweeter.
but you survived it all. Your mother's here, your family's here. What does this mean to you, buddy?
$20,000 more in Las Vegas, and we're going to have a party tonight.
He's going to party, Calvin Fish.
Well, another man who's going to be partying tonight, Biz, is the man from down under, Craig Baird from New Zealand. Great performance today. Tell us about the conditions, though.
Well, it was pretty hard because we started off in the dry, and obviously it started to rain a little bit, and I thought it was going to dry up, but then it just started getting heavier and heavier, and I started shouting on the radio, you know, what are they going to do, what are they going to do, because it got really dangerous out there, and there's a few cars went off, and we were lucky we kept it on the island, kept it in one piece, and well done to Boris. He obviously did a good job, ran out front, kept it tidy, so no, it was a good effort. I was happy.
Okay, I hope to be back next year, guys. Biz, you have someone else here in Victory Lane?
Congratulations, Altenberg. You are the Rookie of the Year. What a great season it's been for you.
Thanks a lot. I tell you, at the beginning of the season, Bob Steele and myself, our goal was Rookie of the Year in top 5. And right now, we just clinched the Rookie of the Year, and we're sitting third in the points. So we have exceeded our expectations.
Did you ever think you'd be able in this position when you started this year?
I thought we could have a shot at Rookie of the Year. And but being third overall, no, I really did not expect to be here.
Great season. Let's go to San Diego.
All right, thanks.
Emotion in the voice there for Jeff Altenberg. Not only did he win the Redline Oil Rookie of the Year, look at the championship position he's in right now. So boy. Paul Gentilozzi is only 16 points ahead now of Brian Simo. He will go to San Diego needing 8th place or better. There are 34 points up for grabs. 8th place or better is only if Brian Simo wins. Don't forget, for all your information on the world of motorsports, log on to www.speedvision.com. For John Bisignano, Calvin Fish, Dorsey Schrader, I'm Derek Daly saying so long from Las Vegas.